how would they pass the cost on to the residents? Through what mechanism?
The way it's been done a couple of different ways. Historically, up until 2006, it was a general fund obligation of the city of Detroit. So the residents pay their property taxes, et cetera, and the fee then, the tipping fee as it's referred to, as a block, is applied against the general fund. In 2006, the city was again facing a budgetary crisis, a huge budgetary crisis that really did threaten the city of Detroit potentially going into bankruptcy. And what they did was is they exploited a version of an option available to them within the contract between the city and the public authority. In the original contract between the public authority and the city, the companies involved made a requirement in that contract, and that is that if the city of Detroit was ever unable to pay from its general fund, that they would basically give over a tax authority to the public authority to directly tax the residents of Detroit to pay the fee. And so in the contract, the way it was set up is it said that the public authority could directly assess a fee to the residents of Detroit through their property taxes. And so basically what it would do is add a fee onto people's property taxes. And it explicitly said in the contract that if a person failed to pay the fee that would go directly to the public authority to pay for the incinerator, that this would have the authority to allow for the seizure of a person's home if they failed to pay the fee. And what ended up happening in 2006 is that the city looked at that clause, and instead of allowing the public authority to apply that fee, they applied the fee themselves. And the way the city ordinance was written was that this was not supposed to trigger foreclosure. So the way it's set up is that if someone fails to pay the fee, that gets reported to Wayne County, and then Wayne County is supposed to process the if they continue to refuse to pay or fail to pay, then Wayne County has the authority to potentially foreclose on someone's home. But the way the city ordinance was written is that if this one fee was the sole thing that was not being paid, this was not supposed to trigger a foreclosure. So somehow they were supposed to flag this as not triggering a foreclosure. But what has happened is, with residents I've actually talked to, is that some residents have already received notice of a potential foreclosure on their home for having to failing to pay this fee that was implemented in 2006. And so this is the infamous $300 fee that was instituted on the residents. And what I argued is that this $300 fee was an extremely regressive tax that was laid on the residents, because what the city said, and there's press releases, speeches that the mayor made, statements made by members of city council, was that there was a separate property tax, a 3 mil tax that was levied on the residents for trash collection. Okay, now the fee that's paid to the public authority is typically on the order of about $80 million per year. It's varied between 75 and roughly about $90 million per year. And that's a single line item in the Department of Public Works budget. But it is a whole separate part of the Department of Public Works budget for the trash collection, which in 2006 was about $17 million just for trash collection. And that came from this 3 mil tax that had existed since about 1976. What they said is that they were going to eliminate this 3 mil tax and replace it with a $300 fee. Well, that's very regressive because the person who has the $300 fee is the equivalent of for a 3 mil tax of about 100,000, or excuse me, a house that's valued at about $200,000. So there's only about 1% of the residents who own a home valued at $200,000 or more in the city of Detroit. So the lower your income, the less the value of your house, the greater the increase that this fee represents to you. So actually, the wealthiest 1% of the population of the residents of the city of Detroit actually got a reduction in what they were paying by going from the 3 mil tax to the $300 fee. And the people who are least able to pay, with the lowest income, saw the largest increase, going from almost nothing to $300 per year. And that's if you have one container. If you have 2 containers, it's $500. If it's 3 containers, it's $700. It's, you know, so if you have a large family, or, you know, it costs more. And I do know some residents of Detroit who actually do have 2 containers. And that gets into the whole issue about how trash is collected in the city of Detroit that could be changed, that could save the city a lot of money as well. But that's a big part of it.
Okay, I'm